Hey everybody, Sunship. It's 6:37 p.m. I feel like I need to do an update on the markets. It's not doing what I thought it would do. Um, I thought we would get a bounce. We haven't gotten it yet. The 4-hour RSI is now on the very lows, so I'm suspicious. It could be that this is the end of a correction, and tomorrow with the numbers, there's a bunch of numbers coming out at 8:30 tomorrow. It could be that we get this final move up. But it could also be that, I think we get a bounce, but it could be limited, right? It could be a limited bounce. Top may be in. When I look at the monthly chart on SP, you can see that Bollinger Band. Let me take off the drawings so you can see what I'm talking about. There we go. You can see this monthly 18 MA holding back price. And if we close the month under that, it'll be similar to these previous ones, right? I mean, here it came down and then it came right back up. But usually when you reject, what happens is you go down to the monthly Bollinger Band. When you reject from the 18, this is really, for me, this is what I've been keep looking at is the monthly because of this line, right? It was support. And if we go back and look at the bull market, yeah, they get under it, right? But once they're over it, it becomes a nice support. They get under it. Once they get over it, it becomes a nice support. They stay away from it for a long time. They come down to it, it's support. They come down to it, it's support. They get under it, and now it's resistance. And we are, as of right now, April is possibly going to close under that 18 monthly, which is 41.39, at least on this chart. Having said that, 4-hour RSI on futures is really, really freaking low. Look at this low here and look how low the 4-hour RSI is. We're in that same area. However, you did get sort of like here, a very low RSI and then a bounce up and then a further selling. So I think something like this may happen where you get a bounce up, maybe up to the breakdown candle here of 41.40 or so. And then by the end of April, it falls apart and we stay under that monthly 18. I have a feeling that might happen. So we might not go to 4,200 is what I'm saying. It's a possibility at this point. I think we're running out of time. I think we could get a nice healthy bounce for a day or two. But honestly, at this point, it looks like any bounce up is a shorting opportunity. So if we get up to 41.20, 41.40, something like that, to me, it would be a shorting opportunity. And I don't know if we're even going to get that high, but I think the RSI does need to push up from here. Look at the 2-hour. 2-hour has nice bullish divergence. I think we're going to get a push up at least to 41.20. But I wouldn't get, too excited about it personally. I think, we could just have a run up and then further selling, which would be more intense into May. And then we'll have to see, probably a bounce, once the first leg of this finishes. But I don't think this leg is, I think this part of the leg might be finished, but I think it would just be a retracement and then we'd have a second part, which could be more intense into May. That's what it looks like right now. When I look at QQQ, very low RSI again. Let me take the Bollinger Bands off. And we are at support. Like on the SPX, we're at the daily Bollinger Band support. At QQQ, we're at the daily Bollinger Band, right? So there's reason why people would step in and buy here. But if QQQ gets up to 317, we're under the 18 MA. If we come back tomorrow to 317, that's where the 18 MA is on the QQQ. On SPY, where is it? It's way up at 410. If we do any kind of retracement up to that level, to me, that would be a shorting opportunity. 410 on SPY and 317 area of QQQ, that would be a shorting opportunity as of right now. Bias is down because we're under the 18 MA on the daily. We're still above the 18 MA on the weekly, but it's far away. So, I mean, if you short it from the daily and it comes down to the weekly, it's down to 300 on QQQ. On SPY, we're close to the weekly, but if it comes up first to 410, I think it may fall to 401, and that probably will be some support. Weekly 18. US oil didn't bounce. It wasn't looking great. It's under its 18 weekly right now. Not great. So it could be it's done. Possibly it's done, but it is at daily Bollinger Band. RSI on US oil is very, very low. Very low for our RSI. I would expect with the markets you bounce. I would expect it. But again, it might be that we don't get much follow through. We might bounce and then keep coming down. So, it's hard to say, the RSI is low, but it doesn't mean it has to come all the way back up here. It could just bounce a little bit and then come back down. Bonds are at a resistance level. 132 is big resistance on the 30-year bonds. There's the lines. So we had this breakout of this channel. But the problem with bonds right now is this purple line. That's 132. That's a big resistance level. You can see it on the weekly. You can see it even better on the monthly. You see? On the month, they can't close above 132. If we close above 132 on the month, this month, or next month, it's really good for bonds. But I have a feeling bonds are probably going to pull back a little bit more. I don't trust this, although, the fact that they keep pushing and hitting this 132 level and trying to get over it week after week, that's promising for bonds. But, it might have to wind up a bit more, hang out here, come down a little bit, and then finally break above. Once you get above 132, this is going to be really intense support. That 132 level is going to be fantastic for support. And so over 132, bonds are a buy, and you just have a stop, like at 130. It shouldn't get below that. Okay, so I'm just waiting. I got out of bonds when we got to the high here, but I'm waiting to see if we can finally get over this resistance. And if we can, I'm back in bonds in a big way. I think finally I'll end with Bitcoin. I'm going to give you a couple of trade possibilities. I talked about Atom the other day, and it did break out over the earnings. Bitcoin, this is the level of Bitcoin. That's the part that I would like to see it get to about 32,000. I think if it can get to 32,000, I think that's the shorting opportunity. This line has been on here for a while. It could be they don't get to it, but that's where I think, that's where a solid short opportunity is if Bitcoin could get up to about 32,000. I think they could do it. I think if the market rallies, Bitcoin could be a little exaggerated. 32,000 could be the goal. And from there, I think it's a short, to be honest. RSI also on the daily is very low. This could push up to 32,000, no problem. Atom was a trade that I put out, and right now it looks good. After hours, it's up like 40% or something like that. And I'll just show you. There was some news. Atom is at 763 now. It closed today at 522, so it's at 46% up. It had this falling wedge with bullish divergence on the weekly chart, so it caught my eye. I didn't know if it was going to fail. It could have just dropped through, but it looks like it's going to push. Atom, I think it goes to $10. Now, there's something very similar to this, and I hate to say the stock because everybody gives me shit about it, but Tilray. Tilray has a similar setup as of right now. Now, Tilray, the earnings are done. Okay. And I got to say that, if the stock market is going to come down, it's hard for me to believe that Tilray is going to go up in the face of that. But I don't know. Maybe there's going to be news. Maybe the chart is forecasting some kind of news event. I don't know. But we have this nice falling wedge with weekly bullish divergence. Doesn't mean it's going to work. For some reason, after hours, it's up 5%. There's no particular news for the MJs. There's, I don't know why it's up. Just because Facebook is up. I have no idea. But you do have this weekly bullish divergence, and you do have this falling wedge. I can't promise anything. This is a risky trade. All these marijuana companies are doing horribly. They're all in terrible downtrends. However, when they pop big, and so it's just, it could be one of these moves. This was up 50%. This one was up 100%. Even the small ones are pretty respectable when it does move. This went up 43% from low to high here. So it could be another one of these pumps and then it drops again, So Tilray is interesting. The weekly bullish divergence is interesting. But if it does pop and you're in it, please take some profit. I mean, because people that didn't take profit on these huge moves up are, regretted it, obviously. Okay, that's the S&P. Like I said, I don't know if we get that further move up. I do think we get a nice bounce. 4120 is on the daily chart. That was the support level, and it could be that we come up and test that support 4124. But if we can't get over 4120, 4130 area, that could just be a kickback before we start selling more like that. Something like this up to there, and then we could have a bigger move down. Okay, that's it, everybody. That's the update. Have a great rest of the week. Bye-bye.